So I suppose we should move on to top story, which does involve a fascist who's getting some semblance
Yes.
of comeuppance, I suppose.
Yes. We have to
Yes,
fight them so we don't relive history.
indeed. So Enrico Tarrio, for those who don't know,
Mm-hmm.
his real name is Henry. That's just true.
Is it?
He's tried. Yeah, he's Latinized. He's Latinoed up his name to make himself even more of a token. I think. I think that's how
Okay.
that works. Anyway, he's the leader, quote unquote. I don't know who elected him to that position, but he's seen, generally speaking, as the leader of the Proud Boys. And it turns out he's been an FBI narc.
Yes. Sorry, it just invited me to watch the stream, and now I clicked on a button, and there are 3 screens. So I'll click this one again. Sorry. Yeah, you want to go ahead and explain? How he was grassing up people left and right back in the day.
He was. Well, this is the thing. We have definite knowledge of his being an FBI asset from 2012 to 2014 at the very least. And so technically, just for legal reasons, we don't know that he's ever grassed on anyone in the Proud Boys. I'm just going to say, I think it's very coincidental that he got arrested 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks before the inauguration, so 3 weeks ago, basically. And all of a sudden, then Proud Boys started getting arrested a lot.
Well, I mean, it helped that they did an insurrection.
Well, that certainly happened, but even pre-insurrection, they started getting rounded up a bit. And you think to yourself, that they were very efficient with their rounding up of the Proud Boys. Now, don't get me wrong. If Comrade Tarrio, as he might well become known in future years, who knows, has indeed been rounding up Fash to try and save his own arse, that's funny. That's very funny. But it just goes to show you, with all of these Trump idiots, don't give them a semblance of respect or the benefit of the doubt or whatever, loyalty, because they will fuck you over the second they get the chance.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we should read the article, and also it might be worthy of mention about what Canada was going to do with regard to the Proud Boys, or is considering doing.
Not
with their
what's
group.
going to do. It has been
Did it?
passed. Yes, the
Excellent.
Canadian
Excellent.
Parliament passed whatever. I don't know what it's technically called. Anyway, in Britain it's called oh fuck's sake, bollocks. Where they make them into a terrorist group. Designation is the word I'm thinking of. In Britain it's called designation, where you become known as a terrorist group, and therefore any allegiance to it becomes an act of criminality for which you can and will be imprisoned. Anyway, so Canada, where it started, of course, Gavin McInnes, a Canadian citizen, started the Proud Boys, although he subsequently left. But, he's probably sweating. Let's be honest. He's probably not happy about that thing.
No.
Because he technically started what is now
Mm-hmm.
considered a terrorist group. Oops.
Yes.
So, Proud Boys leader, I'll refresh. That's Henry Tarrio, was an FBI informant. Extremist leader reportedly worked undercover for investigators after his arrest in 2012, former prosecutor and court files reveal. Enrico Tarrio, leader of the Proud Boys extremist group, has a past as an informer for federal and local law enforcement, because he's such a populist, you understand. He would
Yes.
never side with the
He hates the man.
globalists at
Yes.
the FBI. Repeatedly working undercover for investigators after he was arrested in 2012, according to a former prosecutor and a transcript of a 2014 federal court proceedings obtained by Reuters. In the Miami hearing, a federal prosecutor, a Federal Bureau of Investigation agent, and Tarrio's own lawyer, that's worth noting, described his undercover work and said he had helped authorities prosecute more than a dozen people in various cases involving drugs, gambling, and human smuggling. Tarrio, in an interview with Reuters on Tuesday, denied working undercover or cooperating in cases against others, which is, that's not even cope, that's just lying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Quote, I don't know...
her.
Go on, sorry.
No, it's the Mariah Carey meme of I don't know her.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I don't even... I don't know any of this. I don't recall any of this.
Agent Court. I don't.
Memory's bad. Quote, I don't know any of this, he said when asked about the transcript. I don't recall any of this, unquote. But again, I bring you back to Tarrio's own lawyer described.
I don't remember snitching on like 13 people and helping with getting them thrown in jail. I don't recall anything about that.
Definitely. And it's not, like I say, it seems odd to me that having done this in the past, he wouldn't have, when he got arrested and is now facing federal charges, he might not necessarily have turned state's witness again, maybe to save his own arse again.
He has done it in the past.
Yeah, fool me once, shame on George W. Bush. Fool me twice, shame on me. You can't get shamed again. Which the last bit was literally the thing that George W. Bush said when he couldn't remember the phrase. Amazing.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Law enforcement officials and the court transcript contradict Terrio's denial.
I mean, just all the evidence.
Again, you can tell this is a British newspaper because that's the kind of understated bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, he's lying. You know he's lying.
Yeah.
All the evidence shows he's lying. But you just say it contradicts his denial. In a statement to Reuters, the former federal prosecutor in Terrio's case, Vanessa Singh Johannes, confirmed that, quote, he cooperated with local and federal law enforcement to aid in the prosecution of those running other separate criminal enterprises ranging from running marijuana grow houses in Miami, so, really dangerous people, obviously, to operating pharmaceutical fraud schemes, end quote.
Oh, he just here, give me a piece of paper and a pen. I'll give you a list of everybody I know who's criming.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. If it means I don't have to go to prison for very long, yeah. Trust me, I will grass any motherfucker up. Do you want to know? My mum stole a fucking chocolate bar the other day from the shop. Trust me, I will sell any motherfucker down the river. Anyway, Terrio, 36, so he's been doing this since his late 20s, is a high-profile figure who organises and leads the right-wing, far right, let's be honest, Proud Boys in their confrontations with those they believe to be Antifa, short for anti-fascism, an amorphous and often violent leftist movement. The Proud Boys were involved in the deadly insurrection on the Capitol on the 6th of January, of which we got more later. There's this cracking video put out by the Wall Street Journal on that, which we'll get to shortly. Mm-hmm. The records uncovered by Reuters are startling because they show that a leader of a far-right group, now under intense scrutiny by law enforcement, was previously an active collaborator with criminal investigators. There will be a lot of people genuinely. There's some twitchy anuses amongst the right-wing community right now about this, I think. Washington police arrested Terrio in early January. When he arrived in the city,
this is where Kevin paused because he wants to make
the connection yourselves, people.
Things, yes.
I'm just again, when there's smoke, there's not always fire. When the entire room is filled with smoke, you might at least want to check it out. Do you know what I mean? You don't sit there and think, it's probably fine. Anyway, when he arrived in the city 2 days before the Capitol Hill riot, he was charged with possessing 2 high-capacity rifle magazines and burning a Black Lives Matter banner during a December demonstration by supporters of Donald Trump. Not just the burning of, the desecration or the destruction of private property, because that was on a church. But they really care about religious freedom, obviously.
Yes.
And private property rights. So.
Capitalism, except when I want to destroy your property.
Indubitably. The DC Superior Court ordered him to leave the city pending a court date in June, and definitely didn't twitch him. Not at all. Though Terrio did not take part in the Capitol insurrection, at least 5 Proud Boy members have been charged in the riot, and they definitely didn't get these addresses from anywhere. It's fine. Completely... Who knows where? They could have been... They just opened up the book, the voter roll, definitely.
Honestly, they probably have all her records.
They've probably got files on a lot of these people anyway. I assume the British government have been tracking me for some reasons. It doesn't matter. Anyone who's ever been on strike has a folder. Let's put it that way. The FBI previously said Terrio's earlier arrest was an effort to preempt the events of 6th of January. The transcript from 2014 shines a new light on Terrio's past connections to law enforcement. During the hearing, the prosecutor and Terrio's defence attorney asked the judge to reduce the prison sentence of Terrio and 2 co-defendants. They then pleaded guilty in a fraud case related to the relabelling and sale of stolen diabetes test kits.
What shitheads, honestly.
Fucking Christ. Now you understand why how he was able to infiltrate pharmaceutical fraud rings, because he was a part of that.
Yep.
Anyway, so definitely a reliable, law-abiding citizen here. Law and order, Kristi. These are law and order people.
Yes. Blue Lives Matter, Kev.
Indeed.
They love the police.
Diabetes lives don't matter, though. That's fine.
Law enforcement. We love our military.
They are important, Kristi. I mean, you laugh.
Traitors!
You laugh,
Traitors!
Kristi, but they are. They're very important to him.
Especially to Baked Alaska, especially.
The prosecutor said Terrio's information had led to the prosecution of 13 people on federal charges in 2 separate cases and had helped local authorities investigate a gambling ring. He's got some fucking... You think in that case you'd want to keep your profile pretty fucking low? Like, not necessarily go into, like, witness protection, but definitely keep your head down for a bit. Don't become a nationally notorious motherfucker the whereabouts are known constantly of.
We just count all the different types of crime friends that he threw under the bus.
Yeah.
Like,
You got marijuana people, pharmaceutical drugs schemes, fraud schemes, gambling rings. Fucking
Yes.
How has he got any of his limbs left?
No idea.
Anyway,
Moves around a lot.
he does. He does, yeah. Although he might find himself, not moving around quite so much soon. Anyway, let's not go into it. Terrio's then lawyer, Jeffrey Feiler, or Filer, however you say that, said in court that his client had worked undercover in numerous investigations, one involving the sale of anabolic steroids. It's
By the way,
just
a little
weird.
shout out to Enigma, who is doing lyrics to Informer by Snow in the chat.
Yeah. Informer, just give me what I'm saying. I like it boom boom down. That's
that
a little cut of 90s nonsense.
Early 90s, right?
Yeah, yes. Snow. I mean, I see myself very much in the Snow mould.
Okay. All right, explain this to me.
I'm very, very white, and I shouldn't be doing rapping.
These are 2 things that are undeniably true, right?
Yeah,
and
which
don't
are
try to
also
fake
true of
Jamaican accent either.
are also true of Snow.
Was he actually like grew up in Jamaica? I don't even remember. This was decades ago.
No, but he was just a white Canadian dude. Who was
Was
like,
he Canadian?
he was Canadian, yeah, and he used to sing in like a Jamaican accent. It was fucking appalling. The 90s were a bad place.
Really, yeah, a lot of homophobia. So much homophobia in the 90s. God. But one of the things I was thinking about the other day was a podcast I heard a long time ago about Americans who were surprised to discover people that they knew in the media or in their lives were Canadian. And so it was called Who's Canadian? And so when you said Snow is Canadian, I was like, oh my God, we're playing Who's Canadian? Snow? Snow is Canadian?
Yeah.
So...
Yes. Another regarding wholesale prescription narcotics.
Jeez.
Woo. And a third targeting human smuggling. Fuck's sake.
God.
He knows all of the worst people.
Yes.
Fuck's
Absolutely.
sake. He said Terrio. Yeah. He said Terrio helped police uncover 3 marijuana grow houses and was a prolific, quote, prolific cooperator. There's no way he didn't sell the Proud Boys. Prolific. Look, someone who does the bare minimum to just get the fuck out of prison, it was one thing.
Yeah.
A prolific cooperator. Is there a Proud Boy he hasn't outed yet?
I'm going to be honest here. I think that it might be plausible that the prosecutor fucking hates these guys, he or she or they, and also the Proud Boys. And when they're giving their interview, they're kind of like, I don't want to say they're lying, but they're using words like prolific in order to be slightly like.
Well, hang on a minute. Let's look at the crimes that the court document reveals. Right, pharmaceutical shit, marijuana, human smuggling, fucking his own crimes of relabeling fucking diabetes test kits. I didn't even realise that was a thing you could do. What else was there? The gambling rings. Like, even if he did one of each of those, that's pretty prolific.
Oh my God, Samantha Bee is Canadian? Are you kidding?
Samantha Bee's Canadian, yeah. Yeah, she married who was it? On the Daily Show, who was an American. And there was like a bit where they were like, "Oh, I'm doing it to get a green card," that thing.
That's like the Canadians. They're like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like they're among us, and we just don't see them.
Yeah, Austin Powers.
Yeah, I knew Michael Myers. Yeah, but Sam B didn't know.
Sam B. Yeah.
I'll never look at it the same way.
Well, it annoyed me because I didn't really. I always thought she was Swiss because she represented Switzerland in the Eurovision Song Contest, but Celine Dion.
What?
Yeah, she represented Switzerland in like 91 or something.
Samantha Bee.
No, not Samantha Bee. Celine Dion. What the?
She's French Canadian.
Well, yeah, but she's still Canadian. She's not Swiss. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Well, that's true. Just blowing out. The French people are very free with their union laws or something. Worker laws.
I don't know. Anyway. Yeah. What was I going to say?
But anyway, sorry, we got distracted by Canadians.
Anyway,
safe up.
yeah, prolific. Yes, Snow. Damn it, Snow. Will you stop interfering with your early 90s very offensive pseudo-rap? Anyway, in the smuggling case, so they have to specify, Terrio, quote, at his own risk in an undercover role, met a negotiator to pay $11,000 to members of that ring to bring in fictitious family members of his from another country, end quote. Whoa! That's a serious bit of Fed work.
Also, he's bringing people into the country. Aren't the Proud Boys kind of...
No. Well, no. To be fair, fictitious members. So he's like setting it up so that you can then use that evidence of like, they're smuggling people. You know.
Right, but of course he knew the smugglers to do that.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. There's no way he hasn't smuggled or knew or could have stopped the smuggling of illegal migrants into the country. Yeah. Absolutely no doubt about it. But he's a good lad. He's one of the good ones, clearly.
Sings like a canary, I heard.
Clearly, we can fucking see.
Mm-hmm.
In an interview, Fowler said he did not recall details about the case, but added, quote, the information I provided to the court was based on information provided to me by law enforcement and the prosecutor, unquote. An FBI agent at the hearing called Terrio a, quote, key component, unquote, in local police investigations, including marijuana, cocaine, and MDMA.
Oh my god.
Or ecstasy. So, fucking hell. How many illegal things have we seen in this article? Jesus. The Miami FBI office declined comment. Okay. Well, clearly, my friend, your T-shirt is incorrect. Enrico Terrio did definitely do something wrong.
Lots of, many, many things.
Yeah. There is no evidence Terrio has cooperated with authorities since then. There's circumstantial evidence, I would suggest.
Well, no court documents or people willing to go on record.
Well, no, we have to wait 6 years for them to come out. In the interviews with Reuters, however, he said that before rallies in various cities, he would let police departments know the Proud Boys' plans. Because he's got contacts. He just rings them up. Yo, Davey. Yeah, we're going to be in town, lad.
Mm-hmm.
It is unclear if this was actually the case. He said he stopped this coordination after 12th of December because the DC police had cracked down on the group. Oh no. They stopped you doing the terrorisms after years.
DC police got people on there who are happy to put down white supremacist insurrections, which are the kind of police we need.
Indeed. Terrio on Tuesday acknowledged that his fraud sentence was reduced from 30 months to 16 months, but insisted the leniency was provided only because he and his co-defendants helped investigators clear up questions about his own case. He said he never helped investigate others.
No.
You lying bastard.
I only snitched on myself. They gave me less time because I confessed to more.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. What a lying piece of shit. Your own lawyer is fucking ragging on you. What are you talking about? As Trump supporters challenged the Republicans' election loss in often violent demonstrations, Terrio stood out for his swagger as he led crowds of mostly white Proud Boys in a series of confrontations and street walls in Washington, D.C., Portland, Oregon, and elsewhere. The Proud Boys, founded in 2016, began as a group protesting against political correctness and perceived constraints on masculinity. It grew into a group with distinctive colours of yellow and black that embraced street fighting. In September, their profile soared when Trump called on them to, quote, stand by and stand back, end quote. Terrio, based in Miami, became the national chairman of the group in 2018. In November and December, Terrio led the Proud Boys through the streets of DC after Trump's loss. Video shows him on the 11th of December with a bullhorn in front of a large crowd. Quote, to the parasites both in Congress and in that stolen White House, he said, we want a war, you got one. So you want a war, you got one, end quote. The crowd roared the next day. Terrio burned the BLM banner. Former prosecutor Johannes said she was surprised that the defendant she prosecuted for fraud is now a key player in the violent movement that sought to halt the certification of President Joe Biden. Quote, I knew that he was a fraudster, but had no reason to know that he was also a domestic terrorist, unquote, she said.
It's a great line to end an article on.
That's a beauty. That is top quality shithousery. Yeah. Lovely stuff.
Yeah.